Hello again, and welcome back. Let's do the functionality behind our skill tree. So we'll open our skill tree, and we're going to make sure, yep, it's got our player reference already. So in its designer, let's set up a function. So we'll scroll down and get its onClicked event. OnClicked for that one. We want to drag out a branch, or you can B left click, or if you need to, right click and type in branch. Either way works. I'll drag off a player reference, get skill points, and we want to find out if it's greater than 0. Because if they have 0 skill points, then we don't want to do anything. But if they have more than 0, then we want to drag out another player reference, set skill points, get skill points, integer minus integer, and just plug that in like that. Now to simplify the rest of our buttons, I'm going to drag this up and I'm just going to box select all of this and Control C. So we'll go ahead and set up all of our buttons real quick, and then we'll go in and do the fine tuning. So get the other buttons, OnClicked, Control V to paste that in. Let's see, to make it a little bit easier, we'll comment the button with what it is. So I'm going to say that's max health. What did I just click? Max stamina. So this is the stamina increase. I'm going to scroll down, get this OnClicked event, Control V to paste that all out, because they're all going to require this. So instead of having to set it up each time, it's just easier to do it this way. Plus sword. OnClicked, Control V, plus shield. Now this is a time-consuming process, I know. I'll include a tag in the description that'll tell you when we're done with all this. Control V. That was H potion potency. Kind of slanted. Oh well. Now we'll box all of that in and set this as a combat tree. So back to the designer. Grab our next button and an OnClicked event. Control V. This one was max mana. Designer, fireball, OnClicked. I'm going to line it up this time so it's not so askew. Control V, plug it in. Fireball cost. Oh. See, it seems that black line is the one, so okay, so ice cost, heal amount. I wanted to type ammo for some reason. And then mana potency. Control V. Box select. Mana potency. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. Box select everything. Control or C on the keyboard, and then magic tree. So that we can just kind of drag it over out of the way. This is gonna bug me. Let me just I'll move that over like that. that one, that one, and the last one, and then scale that in a little bit. That looks better. When you have a bunch of stuff box selected, if you hold Control and then box select something else, that will remove it from your selection and you can keep everything else selected in case you gotta move a lot of stuff and line it up like that. Comes in handy. So now we'll go to our survival tree, Hunger Drain, Control V, hook it up just like that. And we'll line everything up on that black line just so it's a little bit easier. And this one is Hunger. Scroll down on clicked. Line it up. Control V. Comment. Plant. Control V. Meat. Meat. Unclicked. Again. Control V. Hook it up just like that. This one was what? Leather. Oh, leather. Leather. And ore. Finally on to the last one. Control V. And we'll hook that up, comment it out as ore. Alright, and now we'll box select all those, comment it with survival tree. Sweet. Alright, now back to our first one of our combat. We are going to scale this way a little bit, give us some more room. And then we want to set max health. Get max health. Float plus float. And then you can just set this to whatever you want to increase. So for the skill tree, I'm going to set it to just +5. That'll work nicely. This is stamina, so get max stamina. Set max stamina. Plus, for this one, I'm going to do +10. Sword. So this will actually be the sword damage modifier. So I will get sword damage modifier. Set sword damage modifier. Integer plus integer, and we'll just add 1 each time. This will make it to where it's like a weapons proficiency, to where you put points into it and you get a little bit wetter, a little bit better with your weapons. A little bit wetter, that sounds dirty. Okay, this one will be, let's get shield defense modifier. This will be your skill with a shield. Then we'll set shield defense modifier. And same thing with this one, we'll just integer plus integer, set that up. Health potion potency. Let's see how we got this one set up. Let's see. Where is that? Oh, it's a float. Right now it's at 20. So let's do this one a fancy way. And we will get health potion potency, drag it back, set health potion potency, and instead of increasing this by a certain amount, we can do float plus float. And what we'll do with this one is we'll increase it by 5%. So first we want to divide float divided by float, divide it by 100, and then take that result times it, float times float, float times float, times it by 5, and that'll give you about 5%. And then if you want to, you can do a round, which will make it return the nearest whole number, and then just set that up like that. So just increasing it by one arbitrary amount was going to be boring if we did that for everything. So here's some interesting ways you can do some stuff. So taking 20 and dividing it by 100 will get you about, what, 0.2, something like that? And then you times it by 5, so it would increase it by 2 the first. I don't know, my math sucks right now. It's like 11:30 at night. But yeah, it's a fun way of doing it. So now we can scale this back in a little bit. And we'll drag this one this way so we can do our magic tree. So max mana, we're going to do similar to our health. We'll get max mana. Set max mana. Float plus float. And I'm going to also add 5 to this one. You can set it for whatever numbers you want, but now for this one, we want to get fireball cost, and this one we're going to subtract from. So set fireball cost. What is the fireball cost? How much does it cost right now? I need to go through and reorganize all that. Oh, magic, that works. Fireball cost, it costs 5. So we'll just subtract 1 from it. Compile. Ice cost, what is the ice cost? 10. So we'll do similar, we'll just subtract 1 from it. So get ice cost. Set ice cost. And subtract 1. Heal amount. So get heal amount. Set heal amount. You can do this one fancy way like the other one if you want to. I'm just gonna add 5 to it, I guess. That works. Mana potion potency. So get mana potion potency. This one I'll do the other way again, so I'll add a percentage to it. So I'll divide it by 100 and multiply that result by 5%, or 5. That'll give us 5%. And then we'll set mana potion potency. Drag off here so that we get it. Float plus float. And then we'll plug this into here so that it takes what we have, finds out what 5% of it is, adds that to the current, and then sets that as the new amount. So cool, let's scale that back in a little bit. And then we'll do the final one. So this one is our hunger drain rate. So I'm going to compile this, go into my player blueprint, and find out how much that is right now. Drain rate, 15. So I'm just going to subtract 2 from it for each point. So get drain rate. I should have named that one better. Set drain rate. Minus 2. And plug that in. So for plant, we'll get plant harvest multiplier, which is an integer. And we'll just add 1 to it. Set plant harvest multiplier. Do the same thing for the meat. Get meat harvest multiplier. Set meat harvest multiplier. Oh, almost skipped a step. Integer plus integer. Hook that up like that. Same thing for the leather. Get leather harvest multiplier. Set, nope, off the player ref, set leather harvest multiplier. Hook that up to there. Integer plus integer off of what we got. And then one more. Get or harvest multiplier. Integer plus integer. Set or harvest multiplier to the new result. Compile, and now everything should be functioning. Now, one thing you want to do is, because some of these, like as far as like the magic, the mana costs and everything, you could actually, without limiters on these, make it to where eventually when your character casts, they could end up regaining mana. So what we want to do is find the ones. These are all fine. These shouldn't need any limiters unless you want them. I'll show you how to do it with these and this one. Well, this entire row. And so first we want to go to this. We'll go down and view its on-clicked event so that it'll automatically take us. What we want to do here is in our variables, we'll add one of an integer. Call it fireball cost limit and make it an integer. Oh, we actually need to grab this and move it back. Or, you know what, we can do it at the end of it. That's fine. So at the end of it, we'll grab that fireball cost limit, get it, integer plus integer, and then we will set it. So every time they click this button, it'll find out what the fireball cost limiter is, which we're going to set that to, right now it's at 0, which works. Now in our designer, we want to go to the fireball cost. I'm going to say they can only do it 3 times. So we want to go to the behavior and is enabled. We'll bind that to our fireball cost limit. Get fireball cost. And if it's less than 3, then it's enabled. But once it hits 3 times, that button will become disabled. So let's test it out real quick. So right now, I can click it. It does nothing right now. But let's level me up a few times. So now I can click it, it takes a skill point. Click it again, takes a skill point. Do it again, but now I can't because it's limited. That way it prevents your character from being able to go too much, you feel me? So that they don't end up regaining mana every time they spend it. So we'll do the same thing for a few of the others real quick. So in the skill tree, back to the designer, the other one we want is the ice cost. In its graph, we will duplicate our fireball cost limiter, which actually I'm going to rename that to limiter. Duplicate ice cost limiter. And now on its, where am I? Oh, event graph, okay. So this is the ice cost, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just drag out that ice cost limiter, get it, integer plus integer, drag it out one more time, and nope, apparently not. We'll set it to the new amount. And the same thing, so we'll go down to its behavior, is enabled, we'll bind that to only be enabled if the ice cost limiter is less than 3. Now, what else do we need to do this for? The heal amount? Nah, that's fine. We'll do it for pretty much all of these. So, in the graph, we'll just duplicate hunger limiter, duplicate, plant limiter, duplicate, meat limiter, leather limiter, ore limiter. Alright, and now we will go to our survival tree. Drag this out a tiny bit just to make room. So this is the plant harvest multiplier, so I'll grab out my plant harvest limiter. Integer plus integer. Set my harvest limiter to that one. Meat, same thing. Get, set, plus, boom, leather, get, set, integer plus integer. Ah, that was hard to click. My computer got in the way, wouldn't let me move. Alright, one more for the ore. Now, one thing you can do when you're dragging out variables, instead of clicking it out and dragging and then doing this, you can hold Control for a get, or Alt for an automatic set. So, integer plus integer, and then hook that up. So, get plus and set. Hook that. Now in our designer, we will go to our hunger button, scroll down to its is enabled, bind that. Go up to our hunger limiter, and for this one, I want it to be 5. How much are we reducing it by each time? 2? Nah, okay, then I'll make it 3 as well. And as long as this number is less than 3, that button is enabled, but as soon as it hits 3 or more, it's done. So, designer, plant, scroll down to is enabled, bind that. For this one, I only want it to be able to increase once, so I'll grab out the get, make sure it's less than 1, so that as soon as they're getting 2 plants at a time, they're done. Meat, same thing, bind, meat limiter, get, make sure it's less than 1, compile real quick, leather, behavior is enabled, bind that, leather limiter, less than 1, hook that up, and then one more for our ore, behavior is enabled, bind, ore limiter, get, less than 1, boom, compile. Alright, and that should be everything we need, so let's try it out real quick. I'm going to grab my character, lift him up, take it this way, and drop him on that ledge, just so I can play real quick and test this out. So, let's check our inventory real quick. Okay, right now they got 15 green plants, because I was showing off the inventory system working for a preview video, but I'll make them level up, and let's do plant harvest multiplier. So checking again, we got 15. So now when I run over and grab this green plant, I should have 17, yay. So now let's do, meat. How much meat I got? Let's see. 7. So when I kill this deer and skin it, I should have 9. So that appears to be working. So let's just, as a functional test, I'm just gonna spam the hell out of that button real quick. Should have increased it to more than just 5. That ought to be good. And we'll check. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I thought it looked like I was able to click it more than a few times. So yeah, see, once you get to a certain amount, it doesn't let you click it anymore, which is exactly what we want. Some of these you can make it to where you can basically perpetually level. I'm gonna level my character up one more time real quick. That's not the right button. It would help if I push the right button. Because I want to see if I can increase that heal amount and just test it real quick. Good deal. So, dang. Character's beast right now. But, yeah, it looks like our skill tree is fully functional now, so yay. I had... Sorry about that. I had been putting this one off a little bit just because I knew it was going to be a lot of tedium, and I didn't want to bore you all to death, but it is pretty important, and it's pretty useful, so... But now it's done, so now we can move on to the more fun stuff again. So, hope y'all enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping by.